What up, fellow sportsmen in this here galaxy, in this fanciful world of a three-dimensional realm where experience takes place. Back on track after a little bit of a digital hiatus. We're working on new projects and new systems and processing and observing the collective from inner realm to outer realm. As they say, the power is within. Mind you, you can read, you can go into external validation and verbal and mental overlays and all of those things. The power is within. When I sometimes don't know, I go out here, I do my videos, and I go into stillness also. So before I speak, I have a process of where I'm stilling my mind, stilling my emotional body, which you'll hear a funny story. It's very interesting and it's very tricky. I didn't want to do this, but if that happens in your life, you're surrounded by it or you encounter it, you have to address it. The famous spiritual narcissist. And it doesn't matter if you're broke or woke or claim to be woke or filthy rich or in between. All levels work. How do we detect that? So the first symptom of a narcissist would be, I don't like that word. They're just lost. That is the narcissist making an excuse, he or she, for him or herself, why they're lost. Projecting it away from them because they're in denial. The easiest thing as an operandus modus is avoid and deny. The brain always seeks pleasure, comfort, bliss, but this has to be attained through spiritual, mastership, not through money or through intelligence and books and I figured it out and I know it all. This is not that. So what you see these people, first of all, they don't know the ins of like really what to look out for into like any topic. Like what are the highlights? The natural intuitive one knows the highlights. The natural intuitive one is in tune with their oversoul. The narcissist is kind of like derailed. It's like the oversoul is here and the narcissist is maybe here. And in some cases, not even in the picture. Because they're so deep into their own stuff that they don't get it. So here's my story and my experience. Symptoms of a narcissist would be everybody else is wrong. Everybody else is a retard. They are continuously incant that they're disgusted by this world, while everybody can't get their ish together, and everybody is wrong, and there are the Holy Grail. When you hear this, that you know something is wrong with the picture. They will complain about everything. And whatever narcissistic traits they have, not only that, they are also pessimistic. Because they create a crisis to set themselves up for trouble because those people cannot feel themselves. And I'm just observing here. Spectators. But it's all good. No harm done. So basically, when you're in a conversation, they would compare themselves as in, my awareness is bigger than yours. Your awareness is small. So they seem to know what awareness is and where your awareness is. They also come to you like making themselves bigger than they are. And then they're like, let me explain this to you. Also, in the communication, they're more in their mind than they're in their heart. How do you detect that? Like I said, can be male, could be female, makes no difference. They will say a lot of times, everybody is cerebral, everybody's in their head, everybody is intellectual because they can't hack intellectual debates. They're not good at that. So they will say everybody's in their head. Projecting outward that they are mostly in their head, back lobe, cross chatter, looping their own cross chatter. The insanity goes into that sometimes they claim they psychically hear somebody projecting things that they would regurgitate, that they're projected at them, what they believe it to be somebody projecting at them, when it's actually their own treatment, their own irritation set by their subconscious, that they're sending themselves a signal that they assume that person would think that about them or talk about them, when it's actually utter illusion. It's an undiagnosed sickness, but I've seen it where people make up stuff that is not even true, that has no place in reality, and perceivable reality that is shareable, mind you. Not contactees and paranormal stuff, suggestive and individual based, but there are realities where multiple people can perceive that as the same. And we all agree, this is kind of a terracotta color. Plants are fairly mint green, and the sky has an opaque, color to it, from bright to a hue of blue. We can all agree on that because there's a collective consensus that agrees on that. That makes sense. That is what we're meeting in one reality. With a narcissist, you're not in their reality. They are creating a distorted version of themselves by reflecting out everything that they deny and avoid if possible. Another symptom is everything will go wrong with them. You will go into a restaurant. The order is wrong. Matter of fact, not only that restaurant, every restaurant, that's the insanity. Something will be off for them that doesn't work. And I looked at the polarity of things with people that where everything is wrong with the world but them. Where I decided I defend my peace, yes. And when I think I have to say something where it's, trying to penetrate my aura, as in the martial artist, you just have to say, okay, this is my boundary. I'm defining myself. This is where it stops. Because here is a part of me that I'm preserving. And that must be maintained and must be protected and respected. So self-centeredness doesn't mean to be selfish or turning into you can be a nice person, you can be kind. But a narcissist, and it's not only the narcissist, people that are so in self, they're so in their mind, they don't think when they speak. They don't think when they're hurtful. They don't. They can't understand that you are actually feeling. And I find it in particular very funny that I had met people that told me when I'm all feeling and I'm emotional that I can't be that. I remember that when I was sent to a school shrink, because you, especially as a male growing up in the 70s, you're not allowed to be emotional. And the doctor told my mother, well, this guy is all emotional. That's why I seem so stoic. This has to do with emotional governance. They make sure that the peace and the inner sanctum is maintained peaceful, like Spock would do it. That's why Spock is such a misunderstood character in Star Trek. He's not stoic. He's an evolved Vulcan that's half human, that has emotional control, even though he can be emotional. But we are here on this planet to learn the effectiveness of what to do with emotions, how to transmute emotions, and when to apply emotions, and when does that make sense, whether it's in a debate or whatever you do. If you're emotional, you're already out of control. Narcissists also are master manipulators. Whether it's male or female, they use sex as a means of a weapon. They say, well, I'm not going to sleep with you tonight. You've been mean, so I'll distance myself. So they're making a deal. So they're using the lowest point of the chakra, the root, as a value to get you to comply to what they want, which is utter nonsense. It's BS. It doesn't go nowhere. It just turns people off, and people walk their own way and their own path. Because what's that? Nobody needs that in their life. Also, especially for the sapiosexual people, if you think you have pickup lines and you just pick up girls because you're good at manipulating, then for sapiosexual people, very, very much a turn off. Because your mind doesn't make sense. The mind is the thing, is the person and the being in front of you. And if that is attractive to you, that is what you should be tuned in, turned on to. That only makes sense, and that has to do with the heart chakra and the root chakra. Those who are just root-based, well, they have friends based on a root chakra value level. The minute the sex is out the picture with their friends disappear. Wow, interesting. But they're not getting that. So they keep creating and fabricating fairy tales to validate their existence, which is BS, which means belief system. But BS in a way, a belief system that is derogatory, it is cursed, it's bespelled, and nothing works. And then look at those people, whether they have money or no. It doesn't work. They're not in luck. Or they're trying to create something or engage into something. They're not in luck. Maybe you can win a great bet or sell an NFT for millions of dollars or be large in cryptocurrency, but the little things just don't seem to work. People don't seem to be really attracted to you. You're not really magnetic. You're off-putting. You're repelling, and you're retreating, and then you're attracting likes. Then you will attract somebody out there for your preference, for what you need, not shared. These people will also be probably away from mingling with people, not going to events, not being social in contacting, and the sequence of self-destruct begins. So to those unfortunate ones to have to endure that with people that have friends, had friends or in relationships with narcissists, is the narcissist is a master manipulator. They know how emotionally they can trigger you to get into things and get what they want and punish you. And for those people that are afraid of expressing themselves, and I'm saying in a non-violent way, not having to raise your voice, not having to be mean. Here's what the narcissist, the self-centered, overboard person does. Everything that you have created or mentioned, first of all, will be dismantled. Or at least they try. Any belief system you utter, they tell you it's crap. Any joy that you have, they will basically pee on, pardon my French. Everything you share where you're really, really enjoying yourself and what you're doing, they're gonna come at you. It's all about you, and you only care about this, and then they try to pull you out of that because misery loves company. They're like, what they say is actually, I'm suffering and I need you to suffer with me so I feel fulfilled, because I don't know how to generate self-love, enough energy that I don't actually depend on anybody. That's the goal. We all have relationships, but also at the end you are from the one, from the all. You don't depend on having to reflect on a partner. Nobody depends on that. That is a preference. That is a choice. Seeing in clarity where you are brings the inner nun or the inner monk out, with discipline, seeing through it. And these people have no discipline. They're reckless, they're messy, they do some jobs here and there, but it's troublesome. Tools break, walls get messed up, trails are left, it's unclean, and it's rush. They're always in a rush and always on a run. They're sleeping like around less than 6 hours, wake up in the middle of the night. They're always restless. They're restless because they can't stand themselves. They can't stand the situation that they're in because they can't tackle it. Here's what I learned from those Chinese flicks, just kung fu flicks. If somebody has an issue and a student acts like a narcissist and he thinks he knows all the kung fu moves, the abbot comes and basically smacks the wazoo out of him to show him, these are your limits, this is as far as you can go, but here's what I'll tell you to do. And this is where I've seen a lot of people, and that's also could be a second video, the difference between success and failure is consistency. And a lot of people fail to have consistency. Let's say somebody has to say, well, I will go live on YouTube every day for 2 hours. In the morning and 2 hours at night. And then you watch them for 2 days. They're doing their 4-hour curriculum. In 2-3 days, all of a sudden, I was only on an hour. And the next week, it's like, I was only 30 minutes. And then the everyday becomes like every other day. And they're like, yeah, it's not lucrative, it's not doing anything for me, because they have designed their old self-destructive mechanism, and they're declining on themselves. They're not doing the job. Here's what the abbot told the student. Every morning, there's this wall that needs to be built this year. I want you to move 80 bricks every morning, and don't skip one. This is what consistency means in energy in what you do. However and whenever you do it, doesn't matter. And if it's once a week, the consistency is the power, and people flutter there. So you lay out 80 bricks every morning. If you skip one brick, the abbot comes back and says, well, before I teach the master class to you, it'll be a year before I accept new students. And the student is baffled and doesn't understand. And the abbot tells him, like, every time you skip one pebble, I will elongate the process of your education, because you're skipping on yourself. And I watch people, I don't have to say anything. They're inconsistent, they're all over the place, but they run around claiming that they know it all. They will tell the world, this is how you do it, this is how it's done. Here's how people can be observed. I can tell a person, say the well is down the hill. Here's the bowl. And these staircases, they are clear rock, so I can see spills. And I say, get the bowl of water, bring it here and set it on top. This is how it begins with your life. So if you run around there, almost drop the bowl or nick the bowl, running up the stairs, and it's like this, and I see all the spills, and you set it down, well, that's your life. Yeah? Though there are those that don't even want to get the bowl, because they don't even want to step up to the plate, as in stepping into the responsibility of how would my performance look when I do that now. Nah, I don't want to do it. But let's go to the performance. So, and it lies in a simple task. And I say, at 4 o'clock, let's meet here. Bring one pen and a piece of paper. Do you know that 92% on this planet fail to be on time or to bring a pen or paper? They all know it all better, and they all have all the fence and all the mechanisms running to explain to you why they failed. And this is the failure. The excuse why you fail. And this is Will Smith said that, Gary Vee said that, many people that you don't really need, you need yourself. People fail because they're not willing to put enough effort into the thing that they are doing. And I don't care if you're a contactee, channeler, experiencer, painter, landscape artist, whatever profession that it is that you do, I'm looking at how you do it. Let's say the baker. The bakery, I walk into a bakery, I had an example, and then it's meticulous styles, all the words, all the descriptive thingies, all the little cakes, all the variations, all in place. That's a master. That person has depth. Walk into another bakery, this describes personality. 2 cakes, there's flies on the cakes, there's some descriptions, nobody knows what. The bakery somewhat looks kind of messy. You're not a master. You're claiming to do something that you're not into. You're in the wrong space, you're in the wrong place, and you're in the wrong time. And here's the solution. If you find, even when you're upset, the right space and the right place and the right time, you can be successful. You know, considering the fact that you understand what success is. I can say within a month, here's my goal. This is how many chips I want to accumulate with the exchange or the service to the planet that I'm giving. I set my goal, I write a number, and if I haven't reached that number, I haven't made my goal, then I'm saying, okay, how close am I? Okay, 80%, but that is one level to success. But if you don't set your goal, you don't want to hear from masters how it's actually done, you're not ready to evolve or grow up. And what are you doing? You're looping the me-nager, the teenager, the me-nager. Pardon for the chopper. There's always activity in the sky. Let's give it a moment. Also, the discipline Discipline required as a shaman or MC or master of ceremony, which is what a YouTuber are, is determined by your looks. If you dress like a bum, you don't really care about your dress code, well, that's how you care about yourself. If you don't groom yourself, check yourself, shower yourself, clean yourself, and make yourself presentable before you go up on stage and do something, well, that explains what is your investment? What are the chips that you're putting in there? What do you really expect from people? What do you want? What's your goal? What are you trying to achieve? And in the discouragement, like again, people speak up. I said that in my Instagram small post, speak for yourself, set boundaries, be strict, not mean. Interestingly is you can lower your voice and you can talk this way and people will say, you're abrasive, you're aggressive, just because you're saying, no, I placed that box in a 90-degree angle in that corner so it fits and it doesn't wobble. If you're not doing it, the wind's gonna blow stuff over and it's going to make noise. If they're not listening, then you do the job and you put the box in place and stuff works. The master, from child to whatever age, can do a task, fulfill the task, does not complain, and things are in place. And it's use your observation skills. People have a lot of stuff to say. Especially narcissists have no focus. They can't even hold focus for 5 minutes. They know what they know for damn sure what they want. They worry about what they need and what their needs are met. When that's not controlled or indulged or supported or enabled, you'll see a fit. It's about self-responsibility in life right now and getting your own stuff together. And this is what Ascension teaches us right now. Not to blame the government or the president or who's going to come or who's going to go, the deep state and whatnot. Right now, deep state is not really paying your bill, is it? Maybe makes you pay your bill. But the focus is back to self, back to center, in peace and in calmness. And like somebody said, we can agree to disagree. If somebody still wants to debate and they're not willing to process, that you're not agreeing with the reality that they're producing, you're not really want to partake in co-creating that, and if somebody wants to go left and somebody wants to go right, peace be with you, let everybody be on their way and go into their bracket. And then the universe will look at you, okay, and now you have your own space, you're in your own confinements, let's see what you can do from there. And then, without indulgence or supporting anything, you will know who's who by the fruits of their labor. Very simple. So what you should not indulge or enable is somebody being mean to you, being aggressive, coming at you with a snappiness that's uncalled for, telling actually you're a snap. See, a narcissist always tell you what you are. They can. There's not one thing, not one sentence where they can say, oh, I admit I. Or when they break the rules or break promises, they're like, yeah, I broke a promise, meh, and they tuck it as if it didn't happen. They didn't even think if a person was deeply, deeply hurt or anything else. They don't care. The topic is pulled under the rug, but what you put under the rug turns into this big balloon in their life. And that will create upset and family, close ones. And when your entire clan explodes on you, that means it's you. If your entire clan, your family, and everybody has a major issue, then the issue is from here to Mogadishu, your issue. And that's why I say people speak up, say what you feel, be emotional. It's scary for those beings to be emotional because they don't want to feel, so they're trying to do anything to escape. They will find anything to just get out of what they actually need to clear up. And the escape route makes it even worse. Let's say you're in a crisis and you need to be at home, and I have witnessed people that when the crisis, basically when shit hits the fan, they leave the home. Knowing that it's really stuff is boiling over, and they disappear. You maybe see them a day later, maybe 2 days, who knows. And when I look at people, when clients talk to me, I give them the advice. It's like, you know what your choice will be when somebody becomes unreliable, not trustworthy. You know, you can't give them your key to your house and say, I cannot trust you. They abuse and misuse. And that's actually when the ship has sailed. The dealings begin, the punishment, they show you they're in power. What they do is systemically, they try to discourage you from living your life in bliss in what you like by, and here's the extreme, disrespecting, dismantling, and segregating and separating everything that brings joy to you. And you realize when you remove yourself from those people, like here, like in an environment where nobody can tell you what you are. I find it always so interesting when people approach me and they tell me I'm this, I'm that, like not being able to read me. Professionals and psychics, absolutely clueless, having no idea. Like my favorite color is blue, and they're like, yeah, your favorite color is green, and I'm like, no, it's blue, and they're so off, and they think they know you when they don't know you, and they're shocked when you were soft once. And Kung Fu has to do with when is the body soft and when is the body firm. You know, like water. Like when you fall from heights onto water, you break your bones, you peel your skin. It can kill you at a certain height. But water, salt water bath can be very healing, soft and gentle. Like Bruce Lee said, you cannot punch it and hurt. It'll go around you. You pour water in a teacup, it becomes the cup. Water is malleable. It's interchanging. It never ever stays in the same state. It's a constant flow. And that's when Bruce Lee said, be like water, my friend. Be like water. Be like the long leaves, the grass. When the typhoon hits, you bend. And when it's over, you come back because you have a strong root. People will say, you're messing with my root chakra. Yo, you're messing with my money. And this is all their own projection into retrospect, their own reflection of what they're doing to themselves. And they blame everybody else, not looking at the bigger picture. And the healing begins, I learned when things sometimes don't work, we also have to stop sympathizing with them, saying, yeah, bringing stuff to them to make sure that they're okay, because then we're kind of lying to ourselves and lowering our frequency. Interestingly, these are the first ones to tell you, you're low vibe. You're lower than me. Your awareness is smaller. My higher dimensional Pleiadian is 17th dimensional. You're only 9D. Like, it's always, watch those people and let them talk, because that shows how weak they are and how insecure they are if they have the need to compare their greatness with you because you're so minuscule and you so little. You see how powerful you are that they're even having to do that. The verbal validation having even to go there. It's very interesting. So intelligence suggests to not get angry, to reflect without emotion. That is having your emotional body in control. This is how you see it. They can accept it or not. So again, agreeing to disagree. If somebody gets water from a well that's clear, well, that village will be healthy. Somebody wants to debate that and oppose you and go to the well that's actually toxic and polluted, and the villagers are all sick. You don't need to say more. The power lies in observation. You checking the parameter in your surroundings, in your living environment, in your apartment, who you're living with, to your family members, mother, father, daughter, brother, sister, cousin, whatever it is, and see how all of this, I mean, you draw it out, how all of this works. Money is like fish. And in the tribe, you know, when it's the group is divided, let's make it a small party, A and B, and they all bring home fish. Everybody's fed. The minute one party has more time for other endeavors, problems, relations, lovers, whatever is out there, whatever you want to distract your mind with, and then fly a kite, I don't care. And you bring home no fish, and A has to carry B, then we're having a problem. And I think we can all agree on that. And that needs fixing, as in before we can create these tribal communities, we have to understand, you know, how do we bring ourselves in? How do we take ourselves out? How do we dance with the entire energetic system and dynamics of people and groups? Barbara Brennan says that, and in a mix of Kung Fu also in Bagua, the 8 trigram pole boxing is Learn when to give. Learn when to take away. Learn when to project in. Learn when to retreat. Also, psychically, I know, without having to tell that anybody all the time, I know when somebody disconnects. And I know when somebody connects. I know when somebody needs something when they need it. And I know when somebody is just really like going over you, like you're a convenience store. I notice that. I don't say that. I observe, I learn, and I take my notes, and I build my mind, and I transmute that darkness. These people will tell you, you're a tyrant, and you are dark, and all that stuff. And you can be, for all I care, a Buddhist monk that has his garden, sets his flowers, and all projections are coming. And the guy isn't doing anything. So I mix it with Zen, Buddhism, Theosophy, and galactic knowledge. Sometimes you do something, and sometimes you retreat and you do less. Things will eventually work out for everyone. Everybody will be put in the place they need to be according to their design. And when somebody does something that doesn't work, well, guess what? This is your design. You have invited people into your life. You can ban people from your life. And you can do that in peace, you know? But know what's necessary for what educational purpose. And to wrap it up, never lose yourself for sex or argumentation or whatever you can get from somebody else in somebody else, as in taking on all their traits. They're into this, you're into that. They're into this, you're into that. Like copying them and trying to match them because you have no sense of self. You have no backbone, you have no, well, to males they would say grow a pair, and to women they'd say ovary up. I heard this from a chick, so it's funny, so don't blame me. I just find that very amusing. So when you observe what's being done in the world and how people treat people, you know who's feeling you and you know who's by cerebral activities only in their head. And those who are in their head will make the wrong decision out of ego, edging God out, overusing the energy that's actually guided out by trampling on you and trampling on the home, exposing the home, and they're out of control and it's all over the place. And we are afraid of being alone, or our friends leave us when we speak our mind. Do not be afraid to say what's on your mind when you have a feeling. Emote control. Say, that's what I'm feeling. And when people don't make sense, I mean, there's no sense debating. If somebody doesn't understand the feeling and cannot act out of divine order towards that to bring peace, which I can feel. I know when somebody makes a divine decision and comes back and says, you know what, I'm sorry. I have to really do something here. I gotta fix this. I can feel it in my heart. I don't have to propagate it all the time. I don't have to say a lot, but I can sense it. And I know when somebody skips beat, I don't know, skips town, is elsewhere, and the minute they're in some corrupt state and they're off the timeline, I kind of get a little sick, depending on how related I am to those people, but I know they're off the timeline. But I learned from Lavender, stop telling them that they're off the timeline, they need to crash. And you're not giving them a security rope because they're crashing by their own design. And this is where we have to basically evolve into letting go, party people. Mercury is going direct again. We've been bombarded with a lot of retros. Reflect and let go. What isn't for you isn't for you. Certain tastes you don't like, you don't have to eat. Certain restaurants, if they serve food that you don't like, don't blame the restaurant or the cook or curse out people. Then you go elsewhere. Peace be with you. Don't get trampled upon. Speak your truth. Speak your mind, no matter the consequence, no matter. And then see who will climb that hill. You know, may the best downloader win. That's this planet. How much consciousness can you load into this avatar? And some people out here, a long journey is ahead of them. And they claim they're ahead of everybody. Like I'd say I am nothing. I'm a humble servant of the source. I'm an omnist. I believe everything is part of everything. I believe all religions come from one stem, from one seed. And when we all understand that, by telepathy and empathy, the high intelligence of an emotional body There's no debate. There's no problem. Any vacation is as smooth as butter. No hiccups. Everything is lovely and there's no complaint. Now look at people that do not complain, people that have solutions for you and always have a good idea, even if you have a bad day. Check those people out. Stay away from people that complain every day, have gossip about each and everybody else but them, and how messed up the world is and how disgusted they are by the world and how everybody else is a retard and nobody can get it together, as if they're the Holy Grail sitting on a rock already having contact, sitting there moderating the world. Stay away from those people. On that note, your higher self, trust that, always picks the higher road of consciousness. Follow that. So peace to the listeners. This was deep reflecting in peace. Lots to learn, and I always have to learn, and I'm thankful that I can be here, that I'm alive and can breathe this air, because this is a gift, for tomorrow is not promised. So I cherish every moment that I can do this.